United Methodist Church of Green Valley, and delighted to have you with us today for this presentation. We'll have probably a few people, more people that will wander in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. We do have presenters with us from United Cerebral Palsy Association. And I'm really delighted about this because CP, cerebral palsy, is something that I was first kind of introduced to when I went to college. And one of the college students, one of the fellow classmates that I was with, had cerebral palsy. And it was remarkable to imagine her going through college back that many years ago with that disability. But she was a very remarkable person and persevered, in spite of the fact that a lot of us students didn't really appreciate the challenge that she had. So when I met Carri Tanner is with United Cerebral Palsy, and I'll just say one thing about her in terms of background. Her mother, Jill McNeil, thank you. I knew it was that, but just had to get that memory out. Jill McNeil was a member of our congregation, and Jill was an absolute sweetheart who always brought casseroles and fed anybody that had any kind of disability. So, Carri carries on that same legacy of being such a caring person. We're delighted that she's here, and so Carri, do you want to say a word first, and then you can introduce Staci, and then you guys are going to be first up, so go right ahead, okay?
I have something to say. My grandmother trained people how to take care of cerebral palsy kids.
That's great.
When I was a kid, she had a center, and I used to go on Saturdays and help take care of the people with cerebral palsy.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, good afternoon. I was going to say good morning as well, because sometimes that's how I start my day. But we're here to do a little presentation to let you know we do serve all disabilities, the elderly, so not just cerebral palsy. My coworker and business developer, Staci Miller, will kind of pretty much go over the slideshow with you, and we'll both just present a little. We'll both present a little bit about what we do and how we help, serve the community here in Green Valley and the surrounding areas. So this is Staci Miller.
I have never been told I am too quiet, but I will use a microphone. I will. I do follow directions most of the time. How is everyone this afternoon? Good. So, does anybody have any idea what year United Cerebral Palsy started in the United States?
Well, I know it was earlier than the 50s.
Earlier than the 50s?
Yeah.
Any other guesses out there?
1928.
1928. Well, we have a prize for the person who gets it the closest. So, does anybody else have a guess? The year United Cerebral Palsy started was 1949. That is before the 50s.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through a little group exercise to get us started and get everybody engaged and their attention up here. I do like to talk, but I like to hear from all of you as well. So United Cerebral Palsy started in 1949, and we have made a ton of progress with advocacy, serving children with cerebral palsy, and morphing over the years into serving others with different disabilities in all ages. So take a moment to go through the decades with me. So in 1950, what are some things that were memorable to you? What were some of the things that impacted your life in the 1950s? If there's anybody here old enough to even remember that far back.
Polio.
Polio? College?
Cold War.
The Cold War. You were a child. So fun memories. In the 1950s, it was also the television boom. Shows like I Love Lucy, The Honeymooners, the Diners Club card. That was the first introduction of credit cards, happened in the 1950s. Okay, so what about the 1960s? What do you remember about the 1960s that was impactful? Hippies.
Had 2 kids,
You had 2 kids.
graduated from high school.
Vietnam War. Kennedy. A lot of memories, a lot of impactful things happened in the 60s. Civil rights movement. The moon landing. I was born in the 60s. What about 1970s?
I had another kid.
You had another child? Those are great memories.
Yeah.
Anything else come to mind for the 70s?
I was born.
Disco fever. I can remember the disco fever coming out in records where you had to turn the pages to learn the dance moves. And I remember putting the records on as a child and just trying my heart out to disco. I was never very good at it. The oil crisis happened in the 70s. One last decade. What about the 80s?
The wall went down.
The wall went down. That's extremely memorable. My girls were born in Germany and we were over there when the wall went down. What else do you remember about the 80s? Spandex. Yes, thank goodness for spandex. I love it. I love it. I'm adding that to the slide. Personal computers made their mark in the 1980s, and technology has just taken off since then. And the fitness boom. There were the home workout videos that came out in the 80s.
With the spandex.
With the spandex, absolutely. So just like all of those memorable moments throughout the decades, United Cerebral Palsy has also made great strides through the decades. We were established in 1949, and we were established by a group of parents whose children had cerebral palsy. And the organization aimed for advocacy for the rights and inclusiveness of children with cerebral palsy. Over the years, UCP expanded, and its focus included various disabilities and work towards creating a more inclusive and accessible world for people of all ages and all abilities. UCP then started branching out into affiliate organizations. United Cerebral Palsy of Southern Arizona has been a part of the national organization since 1962. 70% of the individuals that we serve do not have cerebral palsy. United Cerebral Palsy of Southern Arizona employs approximately 1,100 staff and over 1,200 clients, members with disabilities. We have an office in Yuma, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona, and here in Green Valley, Arizona. Our Green Valley office is up at La Cañada and Continental and La Cañada, 1131 South La Cañada Drive. I would like to invite all of you on February 1st to come by our office from 4 to 6 p.m. We're having an open house and a ribbon cutting because that office just recently expanded. The mission of United Cerebral Palsy of Southern Arizona is to advance the independence, productivity, and full citizenship of people with cerebral palsy and other disabilities. Our vision is life without limits. So what do? We do in-home non-medical care. And what that looks like is attendant care, which is the bathing, the dressing, mobility, meal prep, anything that you need with your personal care to get through day-to-day life. We have respite care, Respite care allows for full-time caregivers or part-time caregivers of loved ones to take a rest, have a break, for them to go on their appointments, to do their things, to socialize, and know that their loved ones are safely being cared for at home. We offer housekeeping, light housekeeping and chores around the house. We offer an individual designed living arrangements, and just like anything in the care field, we have a ton of acronyms. So oftentimes you will hear IDLA. That's an individual design living arrangement. And that provides opportunities for all of our members to live in their own home independently, short-term or long-term, or for as long as they need us. I'm going to also let Carri talk a little bit about our workability program. That is another program that is under the United Cerebral Palsy of Southern Arizona umbrella. I will probably use this one because I have a little neuropathy in my hands, and I don't want to drop that and cause a big noise.
So workability is basically a work-based program. So we help people of any ability get employment. It may be pre-employment training services. So we help go into high schools, several high schools here in the Green Valley, Sahuarita, down into Santa Cruz County with resume building, soft skills, hard skills. A lot of young adults these days aren't taught how to do these skills in school. So we go into the schools, help them there. Then we also have transition to employment classes that we put on that help them with core curriculum. And then we also do the resume building, mock interviews, help them get a job. And we also do job coaching. So you may have seen some of us around town. We are employed, I think, currently in the Green Valley, Sahuarita area in 6 different business locations here. And some people may just need 3 months to a year of job coaching to help them establish what they need to do. And other people, we support them for life, depending on what their ability is. So we also do the workability job program.
Carri, do you want to talk about a little bit about why you do what you do?
Why I do what I do? Well, a couple of you know me from my mom, and my mom always introduced me as, this is my daughter. She works in special education. She helps kids with autism. So that's what I did for many, many years. I would teach. And when the pandemic hit, that was very interesting, trying to be a teacher with severe and profound kids with autism. It just wasn't really happening. And I knew a couple people over at UCP, and they had the workability program, and I just kind of transferred into that and taught, because I've always had a passion and a love to support people of all abilities and ages, and I absolutely, my heart is in teaching and educating people. So made the move over, and this definitely is my forever home. I feel it was my God's calling to just, this is where I will stay, so.
And I got the pleasure of starting to work with Carri in July. This is my second time working for United Cerebral Palsy. I worked for UCP of Southern Arizona 16 years ago as a program manager, so I was the person who was the liaisons between our members and the Department of Developmental Disabilities. I made sure that they had direct care workers in their home meeting their needs and working with the state to make sure those person-centered plannings were happening. I moved home back to Montana. I'm from eastern Montana originally, and I moved back at that time to help care for family, but my experience with UCP gave me the knowledge and the passion to start a senior care business that did in-home services for people in South Dakota, North Dakota, and Montana. So I did that a number of years. always with the thought that I was going to come back to Arizona. We were just talking earlier, once you're down here, your blood thins. And I'm telling you what, it's cold up there. So in June, I was down here on vacation, and I received a call from United Cerebral Palsy, and they had a position that was available for me. And so I came back as the business development director, and part of my job is to bring that senior care to Green Valley, to Tucson, to Yuma, and all of southern Arizona. So that's the other program that we do at United Cerebral Palsy, is we offer senior care, and we customize that care for whatever the family needs. We have many, many community partnerships. The main community partners that we have is Banner Healthcare, Mercy Care, DDD, which another acronym, Department of Developmental Disabilities through the state, and PCOA, another acronym, Pima County on Aging, which is a nonprofit that specializes in senior care. Those are our main community partners, so they refer clients to us on a regular basis. In addition to that, we have many, many other community partners. Carri mentioned it about workability. We work with different businesses throughout southern Arizona through our workability program. And in addition to that, we have a lot of community partners through donations, through advocacy, through volunteerism, and people that, organizations that just want to be a part and help in any way that they can. Anything you want to add to that, Carri? Questions? I'm going to pause right there to see if there's any questions. Here's the resources again that are available, those home and community-based services. Again, non-medical, non-nursing, non-skilled. It's really about living life with no limits so that you have the support that you need in your home without bringing in a nurse or a healthcare professional. So we're going to take a minute to watch this little video I found. I absolutely loved it. So this is a little awkward. We're going to stop this. And we're going to bring up
sometimes do silly things. I put milk in the washing machine. Do you still go out on dates?
On dates? You know, I go to buy dates, but...
Left the house with ugly trousers. What was she like when he was a teenager? Sometimes I was good, sometimes I wasn't. I had a lot of boyfriends. Can you still kiss people when you have Alzheimer's? Yes. Did you dye your hair pink because you have dementia? That's a very good question. I love your hair. Do you know how babies are made? Who looks after you?
Your wife, Vivian, the boss.
Do you ever get lonely?
Yes, I do. Very, very lonely. I'm on my own now, so I have to make the best of it.
I know that one day I'm going to wake up and not know who anyone is.
Do you have any life advice for me?
My advice would be,
Have you forgotten?
I have, yes.
Make sure you tell the people that you love them.
Treat every moment as always with last.
Stay away from boys.
All it takes is a conversation. I share that with you because One of the things that United Cerebral Palsy of Southern Arizona prides itself in is the conversations that we have with our members. We know how important it is to build relationships as we are meeting you the first time, and to continue to build those relationships throughout the entire care process. So all it takes is a conversation. There are many, many organizations throughout Southern Arizona that offer the same services that we do. So how do you even begin to choose when you're in that situation and you need care for a loved one or need care for yourself? One of the things that we pride ourselves in is to build those relationships, not just with our members, but with our family members and the support system that is around that member who is needing the services. We always introduce ourselves. We have patience. We ask open-ended questions. We listen actively. We're flexible. And we express empathy. So if you were to have a provider coming into your house, what are some things that you would expect? What would you want? You can just shout it out.
Listen.
To listen.
To share something about themselves and why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, you bet.
You guys did.
That's part of that relationship building, right? You can't build a one-sided relationship. You have to know each other, things about each other. Anything else? Carrie, anything I'm missing? Every stage in our life is a new chapter. There are a ton of community resources out there for every stage of our life. Identifying those resources can be tough. United Cerebral Palsy is one of the places that you can go to gain those resources. And if we don't have the answers, if it's something that we don't know, we can usually direct you to another organization that may have the answers. So there's 3 organizations that I've worked with quite extensively over the years. One of them is Pima County on Aging. They're a phenomenal organization that is integrated into the community extensively. They're a great, great resource. The other one is Lutheran Social Services and Catholic Community Services. Those 2 organizations as well are integrated into the community in different ways and have resources available to you. When we do a home assessment is, what is that care plan? What does that member need? When we do a home assessment, it goes way beyond that. We want to know things like, how long have you lived here? What brought you to Green Valley? Are you here full-time or part-time? What did you like to do when you were growing up? What did you like to do with your kids? What did you like to do, or what did you do as a career? All of those things help our care providers provide the best care possible. One of the biggest questions that I always ask is, why is Arizona? Because nobody's rarely from Arizona. We're all transplants, right? Me, I was tired of the cold. I was tired of the snow. Carrie, do you want to talk a little bit about how our staff is vetted?
Sure.
This is Carrie's specialty.
So my job at UCP currently, I'm talent acquisitions manager. So I am the headhunter, hiring manager of the company from Tucson all the way down through Santa Cruz County. So when we do hire staff that come into your home, it's a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. I had a gal apply online yesterday. I reached out to her and she messaged me and said, great, our interview's next week, then am I ready to work? No, I have to say no. We do references, background checks. There's so many things that we do within that time. We don't even move forward until I have verified all these things. Then the training begins. People go through first aid CPR. We have Article 9, which is disability rights and law for the state of Arizona. We have different direct care worker training, so they become state certified in Arizona. It's at least 40 hours of videos and then skills training. So there are a lot of training pieces that go into hiring a caregiver. Besides, what is their background, what is their passion and their love, and why do they do what they do? Or why do they want to do this? So it is a long process, but it's worth it to be able to provide to you and anyone else, a quality caregiver.
One of the things that Carri does very well is vet those potential staff, those potential applicants, so that they are a good match for the home. We interview extensively, we do those home assessments extensively, and Carri on the other side is vetting those potential staff excessively so that we can make a good match. Extremely important. So the next things I want to talk about a little bit are what are some tips, what are some things that you can do at home to prepare for this next stage. Get your emergency contacts in a place where everybody can see it. Whether you have a care provider coming in or not, you always have friends and family over. If something happens and the EMS needs to know who your emergency contacts are, put those right where they can see them. Make sure you have your power of attorney if that's something that you choose. The power of attorney, there's two different kinds. There's a medical and there's a financial power of attorney. And each of those power of attorney can be very general or very specific. That's up to you. The do not resuscitate. Again, put that where your emergency contacts are. Talk to your family about your wishes. It's a hard conversation, but it's a very necessary conversation.
And I do want to add with that, I'm not sure what the snowbird population is in the room, but we do know Green Valley, Arizona is a state where a lot of people call home here part-time. A DNR or do not resuscitate, if you have one in another state where you live, the law in Arizona does not include that. So it would be an orange form, but make sure if that is something you do use that you also have an Arizona one. Because that law just kind of came into play this last year.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. Some other tips. Safety within the home. I just recently moved back to Arizona. I live here in Green Valley full-time. The house that I bought unseen. I bought it actually over the internet. But when I walked in, it had the safety shower bars and the bars next to every toilet. It was fantastic. I hike a lot, I run marathons. It's not because I'm old that I need it, but man, oh man, my muscles are sore sometimes and those bars work. So put them in before you actually need them. No slip rugs. Arizona has beautiful tile floors typically. And we cover them up with throw rugs. Make sure that they're no slip. The most important thing that I can talk about for a tip is your self-care. Give yourself respite. Give yourself some time away from home. Do those stress busters. Do those things that you love to do. Use adaptive technology when needed. The Alexa is phenomenal for an adaptive technology. It will give you medication reminders. It will send a notice to EMS if they hear you fall. There's a ton of different things that you can set your Alexa up to do. Exercise. Man, what do we have, like 320 days of sunshine in this state? Get out and walk. And exercise doesn't have to be running marathons. It doesn't have to be hiking. It doesn't even have to be walking. You can do chair yoga. You can do things inside your own house, but exercise. And that social interaction. Just what you guys are doing here. Taking advantage of programs like this to get out and see each other, talk to each other, learn what's in the community. All of that is so, so extremely important. Items to document. Document your medication. Have that with you in your pocket, in your phone, whatever. Who's going to take care of your pets when you're gone or when there's an emergency? Who has the keys to your home if something happens when you're away from home? Again, those emergency contacts. Have all of that stuff that is in the forefront of anybody who needs it if they come into your house. And last, how can you help? United Cerebral Palsy of Southern Arizona is always, always hiring. If you are interested in being a care provider, come talk to us. Put in an application. You can work 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 40 hours a week. We don't care. Their needs are as diverse as what everybody's availability is. And the other way that you can help is to share our story. Share with your friends, share with your neighbors what we do. Because we're all just one incident away from needing a company like United Cerebral Palsy. There's mine and Carrie's contact information. I also have business cards. We have presents for everybody, not only the winner at the beginning, so we will hand those out, but I would like to open it up to questions. Any questions that you have, or anything that wasn't in the presentation that you'd like to know?
And or share a story that you have.
Yes.
How much do you charge to have somebody come in to help out at home?
Yeah, so the question is, what is the charge to come into somebody's home and to help out? And it's $35 an hour, only a 2-hour minimum, and that can be 2 hours a month, it can be 2 hours every 6 months. It's customizable.
Every day.
Every day.
Whatever your needs are. Even if you're here half the year or
Absolutely.
whatever the needs are.
Absolutely.
Is the insurance cover that normally?
Some insurances do. That would be something that you would have to work out specifically with your insurance. We don't accept insurance, but there's times that you can turn in the receipts to your insurance agent and that, or insurance company, and then get reimbursed. It just depends upon the insurance.
So what is your funding, and are you a nonprofit organization?
Yeah, that's a very
What is
good
your
question.
funding source?
Yeah, what is our funding source? So we are a nonprofit. We are locally operated. Our CEO, Cindy Mars, has been with United Cerebral Palsy of Southern Arizona, like literally from the very, very beginning. Our funding source is primarily the Department of Developmental Disabilities, and then those other community partners that we have, Mercy Care, Banner, Pima Council on Aging. Those are our primary funding sources. We do get donations. We do get grants periodically, but that's not our main funding source. Those are kind of just on the side funding sources.
As well as the fees.
Absolutely, as well as the fees. Yep. But the number one is Department of Developmental Disability. That's actually a really important question. Because we are a nonprofit, we can never be bought out. Our CEO reports to a board of directors. Because there are so many home health care organizations in Southern Arizona, oftentimes they will be bought out by bigger corporate companies, franchises, and those kind of things. We are locally ran. We are a nonprofit, so we can never be bought out. In fact, just at the first of the year, our sister company, which happened to be a for-profit company, their executive director retired. And because we had been sister companies and Cindy and Donna had worked together for so many years, so many decades, they had a verbal agreement that if either one of them left, that they would merge the two companies together into a nonprofit. And we just recently took over just acquired Southern Arizona Family Services. So we gained about 200 of their employees and about 300, 400 of their members right in there. That just happened the first of the year.
What do you mean by members?
Clients, people with disabilities or care needs.
How many workers do you have in the Southern Arizona?
We have about 1,100 employees now, over 1,000. We have 100 administrative employees that are in the offices in Tucson, Green Valley, and Yuma. And then all of the rest of those employees are direct care workers that are out in the field.
So when there's a home assessment, would that be a social worker that would come in? Is there a cost for the home assessment?
The home assessments are free.
And does it involve a home visit then?
It does involve a home visit, but not from a social worker. It would be myself or another program manager that would come in and do the home assessment with you.
And that would be to basically find some idea about not only the safety features of the home, but also what the family needs are and whatever the level of care that they're looking for. Is that correct?
Yes, that's exactly correct. So that home assessment would include the safety of the home and the level of care that that particular person was looking for. And it's all personalized and customized for that family. And best case scenario is you have your loved ones with you. It's not just a one-on-one. We want your support members to be there as well. Your friends and family that are with you day in and day out.
Are staff trained in dementia, understanding dementia?
Yes, so our basic training includes direct care worker training, which a portion of that is dementia and Alzheimer's. And then we also require continuing education of all of our direct care workers, DCWs, all of our direct care workers. And so then if that is their specialty, if that is something of their interest, they can take additional education above and beyond what we offer at the very beginning when they're hired.
Do you interact with someone's doctor in providing them with any type of assessment, or if it's requested?
I'll answer on the private pay side, and then I'll let Carri talk on that. Yes, so the question was, do we interact with the doctors? On the private pay side, which is not part of the state Department of Developmental Disabilities, the private pay is a contract between you and me. In that instance, how we would interact, or our staff would interact with the doctor, would be as a liaisons. So we would, if it is in writing that it's okay for us to go to the doctor's appointment with you, we would go there to take notes, to be your ears, to be your second set of ears, to write all of that down so you have that information when you go back into your home. Now, Carri, go ahead and talk about the DDD side of it.
And so even if you're getting the funding through the state or Banner, Mercy Care, I was a program manager as well, so I carried a caseload where I helped people in their homes. And there were several people that needed the help or to be able to advocate for them. So yes, I did attend phone calls with doctors, or if one of my clients or members had an issue at home, whether, you know, maybe a wound didn't look so good or a catheter wasn't functioning properly, I would call the doctor and we would, you know, have a conversation or a Zoom call, or, you know, to be able to help advocate and support the person with their issues that they were dealing with, and or make those appointments if it needed, you know, someone to look at if it was progressing in another way.
But you can take no medical treatment.
Correct.
Correct. The question was, can we do medical treatment? And that we cannot do any medical treatment.
As health continues to decline, do you do anything with hospice?
The question is, as health continues to decline, do we do anything with hospice? At this time, no, but we know of some really good hospice organizations that we could put the family in touch with.
Any other questions?
Thank you for your time and your attention. You guys have been wonderful. Carri and I are going to pass out the bags before the next speaker comes up.
We hit the goodies now. And will you be available afterwards? After we hear from Shirley, you'll be available for any additional questions. So thank you very much for that presentation. Learned a lot about UCP, didn't we, today? It's really, really great. And we also, of course, are in relationship with Human Council on Aging, and delighted to have them mentioned as well. So now today, we have the delight of having the second presenter. give us a moment while we're excited about these bags we're getting. I never know what to do with bags. I go to conferences, they give me a bag. They give me a bag. That's kind of a backpack, though, isn't it? That's kind of cool. You can use that as a backpack. All right. Carry all your medical records to the doctor on your back. So our next presenter is Shirley Gibson. Shirley is a member of our church here, and she worked for some time with Valley Assistance Services, which is one of the excellent programs we have here, a nonprofit at work in Green Valley. And Shirley's work in financial education with clients there. And as a volunteer in the church, she offered to provide that same service for us and through this community and through this program. So Shirley, I'm glad that you're with us, and Shirley will also be available afterwards for one-on-one questions. So you want to use this mic or that?
If you can't hear me, I'm not good with mics, so if you can't hear me, let me know. So what I do is financial education here. It's also known by different names like literacy or coaching or counseling, so all of it is all of the same. So what I do is I will make a budget for the person, so we have to have a list of all of the bills. We talk about spending habits, things that go on in people's lives, like should you take out a loan, should I or shouldn't I? We also talk about scams, similar to what SAV does, but kind of more in detail. It's 100% confidential, 100% no charge, and 150% no judging. So, and everything, and I promise, is not talked about with anyone. So if you have trouble, if you're faced with situations where you can't pay or are having trouble paying your monthly debt, your bills, come talk and we'll see what we can do. We don't have money to give out, unfortunately, but we can talk about maybe things can be tweaked a little bit or maybe cut back on some expenses or changed a little bit. Maybe you go out to eat a lot. Maybe you can start cooking. And we can have some like simple recipes. Anyways, things like that. So, if you have trouble, please don't let it go on and on and on forever, and then you're just worried about it and things just get worse and worse. Just let's talk about it. I may not be able to do anything for you. In some instances, it's just not possible, but a lot of instances there is. Okay. So just call the church office and they'll get a hold of me, and then I will call you back. Okay? And I will be here for a while if anybody has any questions. Yes. Yeah, my office hours, actually I'm here most Wednesdays morning from 9 to 11:30. So you can just stop in too. You don't have to call, you can just stop in, I'm always here.
Wednesday mornings, that's really a great service. It's so helpful for us to have that. And I know you have worked with some of our church members, been very, very helpful for them. So thank you so much for the work that you do. We, next month, which just to let you know again about our scheduling, on the second Thursday of the month is our Memory Cafe program. Memory Cafe is a socializing program for people with memory loss and their caregivers. And it's free, it's to the general public. We welcome people to come in, be a part of this. It's a fun afternoon, basically, about 2 hours, about an hour, a little over an hour, maybe up to an hour and 20 minutes or whatever, where you get a chance to enjoy each other and have relationships. And we've started this program back in November. It's been very successful, and we just invite you to come. The next session will be February the 8th, so that's a Thursday, the second Thursday in February of all things. February 8th. It sounds too early, doesn't it? No, so. But our theme is Happy Valentine's Day, and we'll be enjoying some fun with that. And then on the fourth Thursday of the month, like today, the fourth Thursday of the month will be these forum events, presentations like this. So we'll have an opportunity for you to get some input about what's going on in this whole area of dementia and home care and all the rest of that. I'm looking for somebody next month who can talk about some of the latest headlines about drugs related to Alzheimer's. There's so much that's been in the press about that, kind of optimistic statements and exploration. So I want to see if we can find somebody that can give us some ideas about what is the research that's going on with regard to the attempts to reduce, or perhaps hopefully at some point find a real cure for that. So that will be next month in February, the fourth Thursday of the month.
22nd. Since it'll be the 22nd of February.
22nd. Thank you for adding that together. 8, February 8 and 14 is the 22nd.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So very good. There's five Thursdays in February this year. So just go out and celebrate. Have a great time celebrating that fifth Thursday. So, is there anything else for anybody? Anybody have any questions or comments? Help yourself to any of the literature that's over here, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks for your nice
More
bag. I just have a quick tutorial. Inside your bag, you will find a United Cerebral Palsy pen with a little furry hat. That little furry hat is a screen cleaner for your phone or your glasses.
No, we needed to be educated about that. Okay, thank you again, Carri and Staci, for coming, and thank you, Shirley. We'll see you next time.